Sooner Nation, welcome back to the Sooner Surge, and coming at you with another video about possible offensive coordinator candidate for the job. So before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We've been having a lot of videos, a lot of content. You do not want to miss it. Be a part of it. Click the subscribe button and turn your notifications on. And Jeremy, this video we're going to be talking about Joe Jon Finley, another guy from within the program. This is a guy that would be a possible candidate for OC job. And with Joe Jon Finley, you get a lot of different things, and one of them being continuity. If the hire goes with Joe Jon Finley, you get a lot of continuity from Jeff Lebby's offense. He's been with Jeff Lebby for a long time. He's coached tight ends for a long time, but specifically with Jeff Lebby, so he knows the offense really well, and that would be a really good benefit from Joe Jon Finley.
Yeah, I mean that's clear cut advantage to having Joe Jon Finley move up as the OC. Jackson Arnold, the guy that's run Lebby's system, even a kind of an off spin of it or familiarity of it in high school, you have that would be continuing. Now, that's definitely the intriguing thing about Joe Jon Finley. However, there is the lack of experience calling plays. So I know there's been talk of co-OC and other things, but what Joe Jon Finley would bring is the continuity. He would move from the tight end role, possibly still even coach tight ends. I'm not sure how they would work that out, Jay, but obviously would be familiar with Lebby's system, which is what has been run.
Yeah, and you mentioned the possibility of a co-OC, which I think if they go the Seth Luttrell route or Joe Jon Finley route, I think you're going to see co-OCs, Jeremy. And I think the only issue I would have if you go Seth and Joe Jon together, I'm not sure who's going to coach quarterbacks, and that's a big deal for me. I think it's a huge deal for the team. I mean, you got guys, highly recruited guys, who's going to be pivotal in their development. That would be my question for the recruiting part, and for the quarterback role is who's going to be coaching quarterbacks, because you can only have a certain number of coaches on staff. If you move Seth Luttrell up out of analyst into a role with co-OC with Joe Jon Finley, somebody's going to have to lose their position as a position coach. And I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out. So, but there's no doubt Joe Jon Finley, I think he could be a good co-OC. And I think he could probably call plays pretty well, being in the offense for a long time. You mentioned it, Jeremy. It would be his first time ever calling plays. Is that what you want headed to the OC? You do get a lot of continuity for it. You got a lot of
Is Joe Jon Finley ready to be the OC at the University of Oklahoma? My gut says no. I'm just going to be flat out honest. That's what my gut says.
Why? Why do you say that? In what way? Calling plays or?
Yes, the University of Oklahoma is a prolific powerhouse offense. Not saying he can't be the next up and coming guy, Jay, but I'm not sold that he's ready. He may be ready. Now, the Jackson Arnold, you got a 5-star guy. You want to have a quarterback coach who can help him develop into the best he can be. I mean, you can't just leave a 5-star guy there and assume he's just going to get better on his own. I think they still have to be coached up some. So, I mean, that is my concern, what you brought up with the quarterback coach, Jay. That's a concern of mine. And then, look, Joe Jon Finley has been great at getting the best out of tight ends in the prior schools he was at. OU didn't use the tight end much last year, and it would make me wonder, Jay, if Seth Luttrell and Joe Jon were to work together, if they would implement more of an H-back tight end position.
Yeah, I mean, that's something to think about. And you mentioned that, is Joe Jon ready? You think Joe Jon ready? You said you don't think he is, but you look at a lot of guys. I'm just going to name a few. You go back to Jeff Lebby, you go back to Josh Heupel, guys that, they were either position coaches, quarterback coaches, whatever, and then they moved into that next role, learning underneath whoever it may have been. That's kind of the thing with Lebby. I mean, with Joe Jon, is he's been underneath Lebby. I mean, he's been with him for a while, so he does have that. He knows the offense really well. If you watch during the games, he's the one with the offense before they go out on the field. Jeff Lebby's up in the booth, and he's the one that's surrounding them and everything. So I think you do have that. But yeah, I beg the question, like, if you're going to go co-OC and Joe Jon's calling the plays, why not go co-OC with Beatenbow or Emmett Jones or Murray, and then you don't have to lose you could get a quarterback coach because you don't have Seth Luttrell being promoted out of an analyst. So I don't know. There's a lot of things that can happen. I think Joe Jon Finley, though, I think for the kind of like to keep everything similar than what they've had, he would be a good option as co-OC, just to keep everything. If you're wanting similarity, that's what I mean. If you're wanting it to be continuous from what you've had with the offense, he's probably the guy, right?
I agree. And don't you think that if they're going to make this move, Jay, don't you wholeheartedly agree that it's because of the relationships that he's already got there? Has to be.
Well, it's two things in my opinion. It's twofold. I think first off, I think Joe Jon. I think he's the guy that wants to be the OC at Oklahoma. Like that's kind of the career path. He wants to do that. He played at Oklahoma. He wants to be the OC, whatever. But I also think like you said, you have the relationships. I think you have, if you're not going to change offenses going into next year in the SEC, that's an advantage. The relationships and the fact that he's ran that offense and he's been on the field with that offense, whereas Levy's been in the booth. So I think there is some stuff there that would good. I do not see them hiring Joe Jon by himself as OC. I think there will be a coach, Jeremy.
I agree. I think there's zero chance that happens. And look, here's my concern overall with the entire offensive coordinator role position, Jay. You're going to the SEC. I think if OU was in the Big 12 next year, this would be an easier hire. I think
Why?
I think the problem is OU going to worry about short-term success in the SEC as far as moving into a new conference? We need to have some continuity there going into it. Or are they going to worry about long-term success? Because I think you could change the offense a little, and it may hurt you next year, but in the long run, you're better. Or you go safe and keep the offense. You might have a better year next year, but in the long run, I don't know, Jack. That's kind of what I'm asking.
Yeah, and I don't know. Only Brent Venables knows, and only Brent Venables knows what he wants to do moving forward. I mean, we're all out here, and all we're doing on these videos, guys, is we're giving you some candidates and kind of what we know about them and kind of what their background and everything. And so we've given you Brendan Marion, Seth Luttrell, and now Joe Jon Finley. And Joe Jon Finley's a really possible viable candidate for this role. And I think if it is Joe Jon Finley, I think it will be announced pretty soon, because I think what's the holdup? And here's the thing: you get the chance to see Joe Jon Finley. You would get the chance to see him call plays in a bowl game if he's calling the plays. Maybe he's a co with Emmett Jones or Seth Luttrell, and they're calling the plays. Who knows? But his name's got to be talked about if you're talking about OC at Oklahoma. He's just got to be talked about.
And Jay, if he's not going to go to Mississippi State, which was people thought that might happen, then obviously he's going to stay around, and OU probably wants him to. So, yeah, Joe Jon Finley, possible candidate. Drop your thoughts in the comments, Sooner Surge followers. Tell us what you think about Joe Jon Finley as possible OC at the University of Oklahoma.
And make sure tonight, 9:30, Double Trouble. We're on here live. We're going to talk all about it for about an hour. So join us tonight, 9:30. Give us your thoughts live tonight at 9:30. Be a part of it. Make sure you subscribe, turn the notifications on. And until next time, guys, Boomer.